Okay, so I'll give you the bad news first, because the bad news can be changed into good news. The scriptures that say war with your prophetic words, there's a reason, because the enemy will test those words, come against those words, and if any way possible, he'll try to prevent them. And so that's why we have to provide our evidence in the court of heaven, because we're seated there as his ruling counsel to remind him of the things that have been said. Now, we do know there was a condition in June by Father's Day that he had a decision to make, and if he made the wrong one, he would not be reelected. I never got an update on that. But what I saw in my vision was, first it was this huge American flag, and it was actually behind the throne of God. Not saying that that's any theology or anything like that. That's just what I saw. And then on the throne, I saw the Father, and it was like this woman that was, at first I thought she was dead. She had the gray, that real deep gray, is it called pallor, on her. She had like some bruising. She was completely naked. She looked like she had been battered, pillaged, and raped. And she was at the feet of God, and she was just laying there, and he was holding her, and I saw one tear. I knew instantly she was America. And I felt extreme compassion for her. And I felt the main reason she had been battered and pillaged was abortion. And she was raped by elitists. But she was barely alive. Again, I thought she was dead. Barely alive. The only reason I knew she was alive was because of the tear. So began to decree life and speak life into her. There was no change whatsoever. So then the next scene was he was still holding her, because God sees countries and cities as people. And he truly loves America. It's not grief that it's over. It's just his compassion was very strong. And then in the next scene, at the foot of all of it, I saw the church. But I couldn't figure out, okay, it was like at concerts where people hold up their lighters. It was more like those little cups that hold like a candle that people have at vigils, prayer vigils. But it actually also looked like when people gather together because there's a murder victim or a missing person. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, and I felt like it could go either way. And so there were a lot of us praying for America, and we were praying, but nothing was changing. She wasn't coming back to life. And so that's when I felt like he was saying that the church better use the prophetic words to war right now. It is not over. The victory is not here yet. There needs to continue to be prayer. But it goes much deeper than this election. We've been letting America die since the 60s. And so then he reminded me of a couple of things that we can war with the prophetic words. Because America was dying from abortion, which she never wanted. That was never the original blueprint nor idea for this country. That's why she was being pillaged. It was never America's choice to have abortion. They lied and they twisted the Constitution to make it legal. And so there was one thing, Gigi found Mario Murillo talking And at first, the watermarked ballots I thought came from Alex Jones, who can have some truth, but he's also crazy. But Mario Murillo said, wasn't it a guy that works in, is it defense, that they watermarked the ballots?
Yeah.
So that, because they knew this was going to happen, so that they could, trace it. So we need to pray on that. Any of the prophetic words so far of his second term, he's got 2 more Supreme Court justice seats that will need to be filled. He also, it was prophesied, would reverse abortion. I think there was something else that was really a big deal. We need to remind the Lord of his love for Israel. Because in the background, I saw 2 different groups. I saw the Democrats just waiting for the death of America, and then I saw Israel interceding for America with their flag. So we need to pray that God remember his work with them. He's been a friend of Israel since, the 80s at least. Also, Amy Coney Barrett was one of the justices that oversaw the fight over the battles in Florida between Bush and Gore. So she's already been through this process. She knows what it looks like. So we need to pray on the Supreme Court. And again, just war with the prophetic words. Because we haven't won yet. It can go either way. And the final thing is, whenever the Lord would be moved with compassion, the greatest miracles occurred in the Bible. And so he does have compassion, but the church had better wake up. Because even if he's in again, the Democrats are slowly destroying this country, even behind the scenes. And so the social media and the media need to be held to accountability in the justice of God. And Christians have got to get out of this thinking of going to a service on Sundays and then that's it. And so I've been asking for a very strategic, effective strategy to, whether it's our ecclesia work or if there's more to it, of literally changing the culture of cities and counties when it comes to their political mindset. And I don't know what that looks like. It needs to be something that's fast, extremely effective. It's kind of like, many people before Martin Luther had problems with the Catholic Church, but he was the one anointed to produce a shift. And so that's what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be another movement. It needs to be an anointed death blow to Democrats and their agenda. And especially Christians. I think Christians need to repent for voting in Democrats. In the last several years, they have been, for sure, pro-abortion. And well, I'm a Democrat and I don't support abortion. Well, if you vote for them, you do. And there needs to be an exodus. There needs to be an exodus out of that camp. So anyway, those are the things that I got. So the good news is it can be reversed. The bad news is we haven't yet. And so it's going to take continued intercession. This week will be very important because we need it to get to the Supreme Court. And there are specific things that have to be in place for us to even get to the Supreme Court. It can be stopped right before we even get there. So, because there's again, numbers and things like that are very important. So.
Now I did hear, too, that General Flynn, for the first time, tweeted out, "Don't worry, we know what's coming, we have a plan."
Mm-hmm. Oh, they definitely had a plan. From my vision, I think that the state of America goes way beyond this election. And we better get busy, both practically and also as the ruling ecclesia, decreeing and praying for her resurrection. So when you were praying for Lazarus and all that, I was like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and take a risk and probably tear up, not be able to talk and stuff. Because I was just going to send it through Facebook Messenger so I could get it out. All right, so we can stop that. And do y'all have any